I'm not a complete failure. I once ran a successful Indiegogo crowdfund campaign for my independent, no-budget film. I just wanted to make a really quick crowdfunding video and things we learned from this campaign that maybe can help you run a successful campaign. We ran an Indiegogo campaign to raise post-production funds for our no-budget feature, McManus Sons. Now, McManus Sons was made literally on a no budget. We shot this primarily in one day, the entire movie, improv, very ad-libbed. All we had was like a really short structure on where we wanted the movie to go. And it actually turned out really well for what it was. But we needed a little bit of post-production funds that we planned to use for an audio mix and possible festival run. I remember reaching out to an acquaintance of mine online named Alejandro, who was actually a part of Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew show. And he had run a campaign just before ours for his movie Millennium Bugs, which he was hugely successful with. He gave me some harsh notes. He said our pitch video needed work. This was during COVID times, so he did warn us that people's income was very tight at this time. So did we take that advice? No, we kept the pitch video basically the same. Looking back, we probably should have put a little more effort into the pitch video. I think Alejandro's advice was super solid. It did kind of motivate us to get a little bit more involved with the campaign and make it as best as it can be. And what I've really learned from crowdfunding, you get what you put into it. So if you're spending a few hours and that's it, just posting it up, not even really sharing it properly, it will not get traction. That's just number one. It's basically a full-time job at the time if you really want to set huge goals. And this kind of goes with my first sort of good thing, bad thing about crowdfunding is you want to really keep your original goal very low. Basically to the point of like, can you make the movie or finish the movie, whatever you're trying to do with your campaign, make that the goal. Don't make huge goals. That being said, you definitely want stretch goals. So once you hit that initial threshold, you want to expand out and add to your campaign's goal. That way, your bar, think of it as like a progress bar. If your bar is like this big and then your bar is only filled up that much, it doesn't look great. But if your goal is really small, you're already 50% filled in, it looks like there's traction, especially in the first early days. This kind of weaves into a second point that I think we killed. All three producers of our movie put our own money into the campaign. It's a public acknowledgement that we're serious about the project, and then it shows casual people coming to your page to contribute to the movie because it looks like, again, your bar is already like half filled in or say quarter filled in because your goal is so low. It just gives this general feeling that reaching a goal is very, very possible. So that was one of the things that we did really well. A little trick that I learned way back in the day. Sometimes people have a goal, even if it's small, like even if it's say $5,000 or $2,000 and it's still at zero, means the producers or anybody even remotely close to the project, the actors even, have put zero money into it. So that gives the random person that comes to your page, which you definitely want. You want to find those random people who are drawn into your project. They are not going to be stoked if none of the producers can put even $10 in. I highly recommend getting as much personal funds into it as possible. You kind of get this rocket ship type scenario where the bar is filling up really quick. One thing that we could have done a little better is put a little more effort into the perks. We did have some cool perks and people did purchase them, like associate producer credits, executive producer, and those are awesome because they cost you very little money. But an opening credit for a lot of people is actually a very like sexy thing. And we sold a bunch of those and they become part of your community. One of the things we should have done a lot better was allocate the funds a lot better. Originally, the plan was to get post-production funds for the audio mix, which we did. So we spent most of the money on the audio mix. And unfortunately, and this kind of goes to more of a distaste for festivals, whole separate video. And I don't want to come off like I hate festivals, but you really have to focus on the festivals that A, are really good, kind of the ones that matter, plus the ones that like will treat you right. And the problem with us is we kind of started submitting to festivals kind of like with reckless abandon and ended up spending over a couple $1,000s just for festival submissions. And looking back, that's my biggest regret and something that we should have thought out a bit more. What I would have done it instead of that is focus on the streaming release and buy Facebook ads to get people to watch a movie on, say, Tubi, which we eventually got it streaming on Tubi. And I think that would have been a way better return on investment and return on people's time. So to make sure you allocate the funds properly, of course, things come up and you definitely learn. I wouldn't say we failed the campaign, but there's elements that failed that we could have done a lot better. Definitely with a future campaign, I have these in my mind for sure. I've been super inspired lately by the Mahal Empire, which sadly, just last week, a couple of weeks ago, Michael Mahal, one of the two brothers that kind of ran the Mahal Empire, passed away suddenly. And I even mentioned a few videos back before when his last campaign was killing it, and of how inspired I was for his campaign, and it's something I aspired to be. He was just relentless, and he constantly talked about how it was a full-time job and there was no time for anything else, and sadly he passed away. And I didn't get to meet him or anything, but I just inspired by him. And that's kind of what awesome people do, is you don't even have to meet them to be inspired. And I know the indie community is grieving for sure. Jay Horton, who's directing the movie Apex Predators Club, is going to do a great job, and he's also basically a legend of indie film as well. I'm looking forward to the movie, and leaving that legacy like Michael did is definitely something I think about. And just putting out positivity in the world is a lot easier. Well, maybe not easier, but better than being negative all the time. And he always seemed very, very positive and glass half full type guy, not glass half empty, which I really strive to be. How much did we make on our campaign? How much did we raise? Our original goal, I believe, was $1,500 or $2,000. We broke that pretty quickly, and we actually made a stretch goal. We ended up finishing around $3,200 with 40 plus backers, which to me is an absolute win. And especially for the project, it was a very, very no budget. I even hesitate to say low budget. Is a no budget movie. And our campaign smashed any kind of realistic in our brain what would actually get. We were just looking for a couple bucks to pay for an audio mix and maybe submit to some festivals. And again, looking back now, like if we knew we could get that kind of money, would have planned out the money a lot better, a little more strategically. But yeah, that's the video. I hope if you're trying to tackle a film project and trying to do a campaign, I say go for it. The thing is, you really get what you put into it. That's kind of like my biggest takeaway is if you're just gonna press campaign, press go, and that's it, you're just not gonna do it. You're just not gonna make it. We really tapped into our like personal relationships. We did get a few like random finds that people contributed, which is super cool. And I'd say it was about 50-50 on like personal connections and just random people who thought our project was cool. I think definitely has helped because of the stuff I was talking about earlier. The progress bar, the momentum of the project definitely looked a lot more interesting and cut above a bit of the noise of all these campaigns that basically have $0 submitted into them. So my biggest piece of advice is, it sounds silly, but put your own money into your campaign. So set your goal low and then put your own money into it and ask people super connected to the movie to put some money into it too. I'm Jamie Francis. Thanks for checking out the channel, and see you next time.